Welcome to the Observe Day podcast, the show where we celebrate the days that matter. From holidays to meaningful observances, we bring you inspiring conversations, stories, and ideas to make each day count. Whether it's raising awareness, learning something new, or simply sparking joy, this is your space to explore the calendar in a whole new way. I'm your host, Wisdom Okonkwo, and I'm excited to share today's observance with you. Let's dive in. Welcome to Observe Day podcast, where awareness meets transformation. As we celebrate Self-Improvement Month, a time to pause, reflect, and reimagine who we're becoming. Our guest today, Hilary Momberger-Powers, embodies the essence of reinvention. Once the voice of Sally Brand in the classic Peanuts cartoons, Hilary's early life in Hollywood gave way to years of addiction, recovery, and ultimately renewal. Now, with over 4 decades in recovery, she's a motivational speaker, mentor, and advocate, helping people heal childhood trauma, shed toxic beliefs, and live from a place of self-love and accountability. Our message, no longer lead with your wound, reminds us that growth begins when we stop letting our pain define our path. Today we explore how to transform wounds into wisdom and self-improvement into self-liberation. Welcome to the podcast, Hilary.
Thank you so much for the invitation. I really appreciate being asked to share with you. Thank you.
Yeah. Your life has, I read the intro, your life has been a journey from childhood stardom to self-destruct. I wouldn't really call it self-destruction because, you didn't, how do I put it now? For me, I feel like destruction is a very deep, is a very big word. It was on the verge of self-destruction, but it finally led to deep healing. What was the moment you realized self-improvement wasn't about fixing yourself, but rediscovering who you truly are?
It's a loaded question because I would love to say that one day I had life would be so easy if it was so, it was a recipe book. All you had to do is put this in, and then cook it for 45 minutes and you're voila. I wish life were that easy. I was thinking about that when you're reading the intro, you said life, I had this destruction. It's almost reconstruction of, I grew up, you would think I was blessed because I was given this opportunity it fell in my lap. I was a little kid and my mother had a desire to bring fame into our family because she felt like a failure. She had to give up her career and she had 7 children. She never really wanted to be a mom, but motherhood became a victory and an achievement and it just didn't satisfy her. So she decided to bring us kids into Hollywood but for as lucky a stroke of luck, divine luck, or a stroke of a curse, wherever you wanted to observe it, is, I became the voice of Sally at such a young age, at 5. And, looking at my life outside, seeing this, me having such success, and you would think I would go on an upward trajectory, and I actually was on the top and went to the gutter. And then it was there that, you gain your greatest gifts in despair. You don't gain them when you achieve, you gain them in the tough times. The resilience, I had to hit bottom on how I believed and who I believed I was to find out who I actually am.
Wow.
And, for me, I was under the illusion I was somebody. That's the living in the behind the glass tube where you're not only was I a cartoon character in the beginning where no one really saw who Hilary was. And then I became a commercial actress. I was doll voices and dolls where you pull the string and I would speak. And it set up a character in me that I was whoever you thought I should be. And I would say whatever I thought you wanted to hear. And at a young age, growing up in this family dynamic where there was a lot of violence, there was a lot of alcoholism. My mother was a narcissist. There was a lot of just chaos. But no one could tell because we were pretty. And when you look good, everybody assumes that everything's fine. So the mask even got stronger where I'd be in so much pain. It was like, everything's fine. I'm good. Yeah. Just make the job and everything will be okay. I'll make mom happy and it'll satisfy her ego. And unfortunately, it was never satisfied. So I, at one point after doing this from 5 to around 11 years old, and I realized that every penny that I had made was going, to my mother's addictions. And, a new stepfather who was a drug dealer and used to manufacture crystal meth in the 70s was going to
Oh,
his, we would call it his lab. He used to tell me he was a chemist. I was like, oh, you're a chemist. Yeah. So when I realized that all this work and me being what you wanted me to be, I was failing that. And I didn't, at this point, 11, 12 years old, I didn't had no clue who I was. And when I found drugs and alcohol at a young age at 13, it wasn't for me to have fun and feel good. It was for me to just check out. So I checked out very, very young. I was no longer doing commercials and acting. I made a choice not to because I knew I was being basically prostituted by my mother. And from there, I had absolutely no identity except self-destruction.
yeah.
I went from 13 to 14 to running away, dropping out of school, hitchhiking all over the country and leaving who I was behind. Like people would say, "Did you?" And I'd say, "No, my sister did it." Or I would never bring up what I used to be because I fell from their grace. When you see somebody who's acquired fame at a young age, you're like, whoa, you should be on top of the world. How are you, where are you at? You're homeless,
Oh,
selling drugs. What are you doing? So there was
yeah.
such a cloak of shame and
Pity.
not only shame for me, an embarrassment that I disappointed you along with disappointing myself over and over and over. And so my addiction became my way of just not being present until it finally, after 8 years of, in the 70s, I was a product of California in the 70s. It was all about, peace, rose-colored glasses, acid. I went hard quick, at age of 14, I was a full-blown alcoholic.
Oh,
And and I remember saying I'm never going to be like my mother, but lo and behold, you could say the
yeah.
fruit doesn't fall too far from the tree,
Yeah.
but my brothers and sisters didn't take that path. So I learned how to stuff. I learned how to be in that trauma state, constant live or die, good, bad, black, white, rich, poor. It was always that catastrophizing. Everything was, oh my God, I'm going to die if I don't get it. Oh my God, I'm going to, and either I was super happy or I was, going to kill myself. And it was kind of a bipolar existence only because I had
Oh,
no clue who I was, you
oh,
know? So at the age of 21, I hit a bottom. I had bounced quite a few times. I had overdosed a few times. And finally, the last overdose, I asked if there's a God, please help me. And lo and behold, my grand mal seizures stopped. And I would love to say I found God and then I went uphill that travel, but it didn't happen like that. Like I said, soup takes a long time to cook.
yeah.
Um, and it was, I have to say, some of my worst times in my life, in retrospect, I am so, so grateful that I had the opportunity to fail and the opportunity to find out who I thought I was a complete lie. And
Oh,
I couldn't get that unless I was so exhausted, I let go absolutely to the person I thought I was, to the person I thought you wanted me to be, to this illusion that when I'm happy, when I get over there, I'll be happy because every time I got to there, it always represented a new happiness. And
yeah.
I got so sick and tired of trying to figure out what, where, when, how, who I should be that I gave up. And that that was the foundation day that was taking place.
Yeah. Before we dive deeper, I'd love to invite you to join the Observe Day newsletter. Every week, I send you highlights of upcoming observances, creative ways to celebrate, and behind the scenes extras from the shows. It's the perfect way to stay inspired and never miss a meaningful moment. Sign up today at observeday.com/join. That is observeday.com/join. Now, let's get back to the conversation. What you've been saying so far, I notice a pattern, right? You know, a lot of persons in the current day and age, they are often pushing people toward quick fixes, right, for self-improvement. They're like new habits, diet goals, and all those stuff. But from your own experience in recovery, why do you believe real transformation must start with inner work, right? Inner dealings rather than just outer change.
Well, it's like, yeah, I mean, this is kind of a crude analogy, but if I were to get a pimple, right,
Yeah.
and let's say I get acne on my skin, you
Okay.
know, we tend to go, I got to get makeup to cover it. I need to get alcohol. I need to
Yeah.
all this stuff. I need to hide it. I need to pick at it. I need to squeeze it. I need to, hide my face. And I never take in consideration, have I been sleeping? Do I eat horrible foods? Where is my pimple coming from? It's
Yeah.
coming from the core inside me. And it's a result of all this neglect, being angry, not sleeping, all these accumulation of non self-care, fracturedness inside that I get this pimple. But I mean, we live in a world that we think if we just put makeup on it, everything will be okay. Like get a new job, get a new car, get a new husband, get a new wife, get everything on the outside. I was 16 years old and I had a boyfriend. My first boyfriend I thought was going to be my happily ever after. We all have one of
Mm.
them. And I always called him my Captain Save-A-Ho. I thought he was going to fix me, he was going to make everything okay. Cause I really want that magical solution, that one person, that one job, that one. And he said to me one day, Hilary, your funnel is on backwards. You see life really screwed up. And I thought, you know, an asshole. But, in hindsight, it was one of the most profound things that I was ever said to me because he was right. He was 100% right. I had my funnel on backwards. If you look at a funnel at the top, it's big on one side and it pinpoints at the
Yeah.
other. And
Yes, was some of that.
I kept seeing life as when I get there, when I get that's it. It's over there. It's over there. But once I turned it around, which is like, I call that like I turn it over to God, I turn it over, I expose it, I show it. All of a sudden, I have a different perspective. Like there's a whole world out there, but really my world starts from the inside out, not the outside in. So if I can shift my inside, I'm going to have a new experience on the outside. Make
Oh,
sense?
yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Wow.
So I spent so many years, you know, age is a great tool for wisdom. One should
Yeah.
hope. It could be either a bitter ride or it's an expanding vision. That's it. Pick your poison. And for a long time, it was a bitter ride. I was a professional perpetuating. I suffer from victimese, as they say. Um, all my problems were because of and there was a comma. I always had like a list full of why my life was bad. Never, ever taking into account that I'm the I'm the common denominator of my existence. Oh my
Yeah.
God. I'm in every single scenario.
Yeah.
Maybe I might be the problem. But when your ego is trying to survive in this crazy world, I I I don't want to let go of my ego because then who am I going to be?
Yeah. Of
Because
course.
I am my own God. I am my source. I got this. I got this. But my mind is so hurt with memories and hurt with experience, and it's fractured. It's almost like a, you know, the when you get it's a compound fracture where it's like sprained so bad that I can't even see that I'm hurt because it tells me, oh, no, it's okay. I'm okay. I'm okay. I still got arms. I still can get a job. I can still, but I don't even know that my mind is so hurt that I don't know how to heal myself. I don't know where to go or what to do. I keep thinking if I move or if I get more money or get less money or get more education and get, instead of practice receiving, which is something I don't know how. I know how to take, I don't know how to receive. And when I was able to hit that first bottom and started digging deeper and realizing I really need a strong foundation that I can rely, meaning lie back down and get some rest and build from there instead of building on my old life. And you don't do that until you're done.
Yeah.
Done. And it's not even done with stuff. It's I'm just my core is like, uncle,
Enough
I'm
is
done.
enough.
I'm uncle, I'm done. And if I always say if you're in that place, God, congratulations. You are starting your journey. Because every time you think you got and you're going to try another way, there's no growth that's going to come in. It's like, patching up a house. It's got cracks. You just keep slapping paint on it, and it keeps shifting and it keeps slapping paint on it, slapping
Yeah.
paint until one day it's just going to fall apart and you're like, what happened? It was on its way anyway. Now you can build a new foundation. You can build on a new life without any resemblance or even reference to the old life. You can just leave that behind, one brick at a time, one
Yeah.
moment at one experience at a time, one
You
prayer at a time.
you often you often say don't lead with your wound. What does that mean in practical terms? How can listeners recognize when their past pain is still driving their present behavior? Like, you in your case when you notice that you were the common thing denominator.
Yeah. Well, I use that because I spent my life picking through my past pains. It's like the partners I would pick, it was so familiar that I automatically went for it. Like my pain pushed me there. I would see somebody or a job or a place or a house to live in that would be healthy for me or something that was new. And I'd say, no, 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 I don't like it. I'd immediately have a judgment towards it. Not because it wasn't any good. It was because my pain, remembering my pain. So my keynote is no longer leading with your wound. And it was funny. We came up with that. I was married when I was 23 years old, and my ex-husband was like 15 years older than me. I remember saying to him, "Are you my daddy?" It was almost like I picked him because I thought he was going to heal me. And we pick our partners through this lack. Either I never got love, so I go after somebody who overloves me, and then I resent them and I leave them. We all tend to have our little ways of escaping when we go to get. And so I met my husband and we joke around about it because we're still friends 40 plus years later. And he said, I said to him, I said, I picked you out of my wound. And he said, I guess I picked you out of my wound because he was trying to heal from his childhood and his relationships, and I was trying to heal from mine. And I thought if I picked this guy, I would be okay. And unfortunately, what it did is it brought up more pain. It brought up more memory and brought up more hurt. And I ended up like leaving this relationship because of that. So I started realizing that I've done that with a lot of my jobs. That when I'm hurt, I think that you will fix me. When I'm in pain or when I'm in old memories, or I hate this person or I hate this life. I just need to move. It's like I'm leading with my wound. I haven't healed enough to make a choice instead of live in a reactive state. And in And the way I work with people, and I kind of have my own little thing, I call it the triangle of pain. When in my growing up, there was so much trauma going on. My reaction was there's three ways that you react when you're in that fight or flight, live or die kind of, oh my God, there's so much chaos going on. You either become the people pleaser, the loner, or the controller. And I became the people pleaser until I could not please anymore. And I got so sick and tired of it. I became the loner, which I became a drug addict. Don't tell me what to do. I got this. I was sneaky. All the behavior was very sneaky. That's a very loner behavior. And then I would switch to the controller. I had to make sure you were the right person. You were there. I needed to control my outsides because there was so much chaos in my insides. And
Yeah.
when you get to a place where you hit that bottom, where you're just like, I can't control it, I can't run away from it, and I can't please the world, I'm done, which is a great spot you're in. That's when you can start making some different choices, and not on the outside. It's about choosing. In order for me to go up and to grow, I have to first stabilize myself.
Yes.
And how do I stabilize myself? Well, God was so kind, He gave me all my senses, which, the world plays on, or I can align it with this power greater than me, other than me. I call God. And I say, can you help me stop? Like, breathing, take a deep breath, breathing exercises. Like, have I drank water today? Can I sit still for a moment? Take 5 minutes, no radio, no phone, nothing. Just stabilize, like relax. The seeing, tasting, touching, hearing, smelling. If I can address all those senses in a 5 to 10 minute period, I am no longer in trauma. I can immediately shift my energy frequency by just getting to the basics. And we learn that as a kid, when you were 5 years old, your parents or your teacher, they'd say, are you tired? Do you need a nap? Are you hungry? Do you need you need your bottle? Do you need something to drink? Do you
Yeah.
want to go play with the dog? Do you want to how about go climb a tree? Those are the stabilizing things that we were taught. But for some reason, I forgot them. I thought that I needed to go outside of myself, get the job, get the car, get the money, get. And all I needed to do was just stop and pause and be with Hilary.
Wow.
And when you're spending your life running from yourself because you feel like I'm a failure, like all these beliefs I have about myself, I should have been aborted, I'm not good enough, I'm a loser, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not smart enough, all this stuff that's just bouncing. It's like a pinball machine in your head, these thoughts. And you're like, God, how do you live when you have like that? Well, most people drink, or they go to porn, or they go to shopping, or they go to food. They find some way to try to stuff it down, distract themselves,
Yeah.
and in hopes that it's going to go away.
Wow.
And unfortunately, when you don't address it, what you resist persists, and what you resist grows.
Wow. What you resist persists, and what you resist grows.
Grows. It gets bigger and badder. And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden, the addiction of denying or pretending. It's like when you don't pay your light bill. I'll pay it later.
Yeah.
It it grows. You get penalties. All of a sudden, you're like, dude, that $100 phone bill is now $425. How did that happen? Because what persists, what you resist persists, and what you resist grows. There it is. And so the
Wow.
more I denied myself, the stronger the voice inside screaming for me to take care of myself.
Wow. Hilary, many listeners may, listening to your story, many of them may feel like, well, for me, it's too late to change or start over. What would you tell someone standing at that crossroad? Unsure if, transformation is still possible.
Well, basically, that's total bullshit. It's never dude. Babe, if you're breathing, you got time. Awesome. because I can only deal with my life in the day I'm in and in the moment I'm in. But see, what we want to do is we go, oh my God, I'm 50. It's never going to happen. Because I'm looking at 70 or 50, or I'm looking behind me in my rearview mirror and I'm going, but I just spent 50 years screwing my life up. We're
Yeah.
not, yeah, turn your head back around. We're not going to live in the rearview mirror. What can you do in the day that you're in to stabilize you? And you go to basics. And once I go to basics, meaning, did I eat today? Have I had some good food? Did I get some fresh air? Did I get some sunlight? Did I go
Yeah.
for, did
Basic.
I my feet in the grass? I mean, little simple stuff. These are kid stuff.
Yeah.
Then once I do that, then I can emerge from this terrified self, this critical, self-defeating, beating Hillary. I can all of a sudden emerge into a community, and all of a sudden I feel a sense of what? Belonging. And that's all I've ever wanted, to feel like I belong.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I can't belong if I don't belong to myself.
Hilary, we can listeners learn more about this, your story and also connect with you.
Hmm. Where can they can, well, if you'd like to have a conversation with me, you can go to bookhilarybowers.live and we can have a conversation. And we can see if I can help you or I can steer you somewhere else. Um, or um, I'm also, you can get me on I have hilarypowers.com is my website. You can get me on Instagram. I just started doing that. I'm like, I don't know. See, here's the funny thing. It's funny. Here's what you just said. Is it too late? Right? You just
Yeah.
brought that. So, I've been coaching women and people, men also, for over 40 years. And it's very been word of mouth and what have you. And over the last few months, I've been asked to speak a lot at at colleges and some facilities. And I do a lot of speaking at, simple, small venues.
Yeah.
So my friend says to me, I think you need to get back into this. And I thought, oh my God, I'm 63 years old. I'm going to reinvent myself. And then I thought, what a great time. 63 is perfect. And then they said, do you have an Instagram page? And I'm like, oh. So I could have gone two ways. I could have said, oh my God, it's too late. I should have started this 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Or I could just say, I might as well do it in the day I'm in. So
Yeah.
I have an Instagram page. I don't have a zillion followers, and that's okay because
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. See, my mind could have destroyed the whole possibility of me having a conversation with you
Exactly.
if
Yeah.
I would have
Wow.
had and said it's too late.
Yeah. Thank you for taking the step. Thank you for just realizing that age is a state of mind. And if you don't mind, it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
I think by Mark Twain. That's not my quote. It's by Mark Twain.
No, it's
Uh,
so true. It's so true.
yeah.
He was awesome. He was
I'll
one
put the
wise.
link you mentioned in the description and the show notes so that listeners can connect with you. And your story is quite inspiring. And I'm glad that you took that as for your journey rather than as poison to it does for most persons it's poison though it
Mhm.
leads to the total annihilation. They end up from drug addicts. They end up moving on to suicide, and it's sad.
And you know what the wonderful thing is? Today, the most important life I have is my inside life, meaning my mind and my heart.
Yeah.
I spent many years living thinking that my life was outside of me. That's my living. My inside life is my life. So I hope your listeners make your inside life the most important thing and don't let anything mess with your sanity. You protect that like a pit bull protects his master.
Thank you so much. That's it for today's episode of the Observe Day podcast. Thank you for spending your time with us as we explore today's observance. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts and share it with a friend who'd love to celebrate life special days too. Don't forget to join the newsletter at observeday.com victimhood.com/join for more observant stories, tips, and updates. Until next time, keep finding meaning in every day.